If you're an independent artist, you know the dream isn't just about getting your music heard, right? It's about actually building a sustainable career from your art. Well, today, we're gonna break down a really fascinating model that's all about doing just that, turning radio spins into a predictable, fan-funded income stream. Let's get right into it. So here's the game plan. First, we'll talk about the struggle every indie artist knows all too well. Then, we'll introduce this new idea called validation. After that, we'll break down what a promo campaign actually looks like, run the numbers to see the potential return, and wrap it all up by looking at the big picture, how to build a real foundation for your career funded by your fans. All right, so let's set the stage here. The whole music world today is kind of a paradox, isn't it? I mean, it's never been easier to get your music out there, but it feels like it's never been harder to actually make a living from it. And this is the million-dollar question for so many of you. You're getting plays, maybe we even land on a few playlists, but is any of that turning into reliable money in your pocket? For most artists, the answer is a big, frustrating no. And here's why it feels like you're running through a maze. The payouts for each stream are, fractions of a penny. Getting discovered feels like winning the playlist lottery. You're just at the mercy of some algorithm. And on top of all that, the market is just flooded with music. So how in the world do you turn someone who just passively heard your song into an active, dedicated supporter? So this is where the model we're looking at today suggests a totally different way forward. It's all built around this one core idea they call validation, and it's designed to fix those exact problems we just talked about. So what is validation? It's actually super simple. It's a feature that lets a listener take just $1 from their monthly subscription and point it directly at an artist they love. And the key here is that this isn't a one-time thing. It's a recurring monthly stream of income coming straight from a fan who cares. The real genius here is how simple it is. We're not asking fans for some huge donation. It all starts with just $1 a month from one fan. It's a totally accessible amount that makes supporting you, the artist, feel really easy and direct. And this is where that simple idea really starts to show its power. That single dollar a month from one fan becomes $12 a year going right to you. Now just imagine that. What if you have 10 fans doing that, or 50, or 100? That income starts to stack up really, really fast. And this is what it looks like from your end. It's not just some abstract concept. You can actually log into your dashboard and watch these validations come in real time. This makes that fan support feel so much more tangible, and honestly, it's incredibly motivating to see. Okay, so the concept makes sense, but how do you actually get those validations? What does it look like in the real world? Let's break down what a typical one-month promo campaign gets you. So, for a $300 investment, you're getting a whole package. The core of it is 780 guaranteed radio spins. But crucially, that investment also unlocks your access to that validation system we've been talking about. Plus, you get listings for paid gigs, and of course, you still collect your regular royalties on every single one of those spins. And here's how it all connects. The spins you get on the radio introduce your music to brand new ears. Then, those listeners can go right over to a request page and interact with your music again. See how that works? It creates this perfect little feedback loop that turns a casual listener into a real active fan. All right, now for the part I know every artist is waiting for. How does this investment actually turn into real money? Let's look at the potential return on investment here, and we'll walk through a few different scenarios. First, let's be real and look at the absolute floor, the worst case scenario. This helps us set a baseline and see what the risk really is. Okay, so even at the bare minimum, let's say you get 20 validations. That's $240 a year in recurring revenue. Now, if you book just one of those listed gigs for $200, your total value is already at $440. For a $300 investment, you're already in the black, even in the worst case scenario. So, what does the target look like? This is what a successful campaign should achieve. This is the goal. At this level, things really start to change. If you hit that target of 50 validations, you've locked in $600 a year of recurring income. Add a booked show or two on top of that, and the total value from that initial $300 is pushing past $1,000. Now your campaign has paid for itself multiple times over. And finally, what happens when you have a breakout month? When your music just really connects with the audience and everything clicks. 100 validations. That creates a baseline of $1,200 a year. That's $100 coming in every single month. Combine that with a couple of good shows, and you're looking at a total value of almost $2,000. We're not just talking about a good return anymore. This is a fundamental piece of your annual income.
And that really brings us to the most important point of all of this. This whole model is about a major shift in how you should be thinking about your career. It's about getting away from just doing one-off promotions. It really comes down to two totally different ways of thinking. On the left, you've got that old FOMO mindset. You're just hoping for virality, praying you win the playlist lottery, all for a little one-time exposure. But on the right, you have the infrastructure mindset. You're actively turning listeners into real supporters, building predictable income, and creating a fan base that's going to stick with you for the long haul.
This quote from the source material just nails it, doesn't it? The goal isn't to get a temporary spike. The goal is to build a machine, an infrastructure that can support your career month after month, year after year.
So it really leaves us with this big question. In a world of passive streaming, is a model like this one that empowers fans to give direct, recurring, and meaningful financial support? Is that the real future of how artists and their biggest fans connect? It's definitely something to think about.